Close your eyes for a second and think about the last time you failed, the moment it didn't work, the moment you felt embarrassed, disappointed, or questioned your worth. Now listen carefully. What if that moment wasn't ruining your life? What if it was secretly preparing you for the success you've been praying for? Stay with me, because what you're about to hear will completely change how you see failure, and once you understand this, you will never quit on yourself again. Most people are terrified of failure because they were never taught what it really is. From a young age, failure is presented as proof that something is wrong with you, that you're not smart enough, talented enough, or worthy enough. So you grow up running from it, hiding from it, avoiding risks that might expose you. But what nobody tells you is this: failure is not a verdict. Failure is a classroom, and success is trained there, quietly, painfully, relentlessly. Every person you admire, every name you respect, every life you wish you could live, none of it was built in comfort. It was built in lessons learned the hard way, in moments where quitting felt logical and continuing felt almost impossible. Think about how real learning actually happens. You don't truly learn to walk by reading instructions, you learn by falling, again and again. A child falls hundreds of times, yet never once thinks maybe walking just isn't for me. Why? Because failure at that stage is understood as part of the process. Somewhere along the way, we forget that truth. We start believing that falling means stop. But in reality, falling is the signal that learning is taking place. Failure is feedback. It tells you where you're weak, where you're unprepared, where you need to grow. Success listens to that feedback. Average people ignore it. Quitters take it personally. Look at Thomas Edison. People love to quote him, but rarely do they sit with the weight of what he actually lived. He failed over 1,000 times trying to invent the light bulb. 1,000 times of effort, resources, ridicule, and disappointment. Imagine failing at something once and telling your friends. Now imagine failing 100 times. Imagine 1,000. The world would call you delusional, but Edison didn't see those attempts as failures. He saw them as lessons. Each attempt taught him one more way that didn't work, narrowing the path toward what eventually would. The light that changed the world was born in the darkness of repeated failure. Without that classroom, the success never arrives. Failure trains patience in a way success never can. When things come easily, you don't develop endurance. You don't learn how to sit with discomfort. You don't learn how to keep going when motivation disappears. Failure forces you to slow down and build inner strength. It stretches your timeline. It teaches you that real progress is not dramatic. It's quiet and often invisible. The person who has failed knows how to wait, how to work without applause, how to trust the process when there are no guarantees. That patience becomes an unfair advantage later, because success takes time, and most people give up long before time rewards them. Consider J.K. Rowling. Before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon, she was a single mother living on welfare, battling depression, rejected by 12 publishers. 12. Each rejection wasn't just professional, it was personal. It told her this isn't good enough. It told her nobody wants this. She could have listened. She could have decided that those rejections were proof she wasn't meant for this, but instead, she stayed in the classroom. Each rejection refined her resilience, each no hardened her belief. When the world finally said yes, she wasn't fragile, she was trained. Success didn't crush her because failure had already strengthened her foundation. Failure also trains humility. When you fail, you are stripped of illusions. You realize how much you don't know. You learn to ask better questions. You learn to listen instead of assuming. This humility makes you coachable, adaptable, and open to growth. Arrogance blocks learning, but failure destroys arrogance quickly. He forces you to rebuild yourself with honesty, and that honesty is powerful. People who have failed deeply understand effort, respect the grind, and don't underestimate the journey. They don't pretend. They don't fake confidence. Their confidence is earned. Think about athletes. No champion is built on a streak of uninterrupted wins. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school varsity basketball team. That moment could have defined him as not good enough. Instead, it became fuel. He trained harder. He showed up earlier. He stayed later. Failure didn't end his story. It sharpened it. The pain of being overlooked taught him discipline, hunger, and obsession with improvement. Championships are won in stadiums, but champions are trained in moments of rejection no one applauds. Failure also teaches clarity. When something doesn't work, it forces you to ask why. Was it the strategy, the effort, the mindset, the preparation? Success rarely asks those questions because success feels good. Failure demands answers. It pushes you to reflect, to analyze, to redesign your approach. Over time, you stop making emotional decisions and start making intelligent ones. You become strategic. You stop blaming luck and start building systems. This clarity compounds. Each failure refines your direction until your actions become aligned with real progress, not just hope. There is also a deep emotional training that happens inside failure. It teaches you how to survive disappointment, how to sit alone with doubt, how to face the fear of judgment. These are muscles, emotional muscles, and like physical muscles, they only grow under resistance. Someone who has never failed often collapses under pressure when things go wrong. Someone who has failed repeatedly knows how to breathe through chaos. They know how to steady themselves when everything feels uncertain. That emotional stability becomes priceless when responsibility increases and stakes get higher. Think of everyday life. The entrepreneur whose first business collapses learns more than someone who never starts. The student who struggles in studies learns discipline that effortless toppers never develop. The person who gets rejected, heartbroken, and betrayed learns boundaries, self-worth, and resilience. These lessons don't come from winning. They come from losing and choosing to learn instead of bitterly walking away. Failure doesn't just prepare you for success, it prepares you to handle success without losing yourself. Failure also trains courage. After you fail once, something interesting happens. You realize the world didn't end. You're still breathing. You're still standing. That realization is liberating. The fear loses some of its power. You become willing to try again, to risk again, to speak again. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the understanding that fear is survivable. Failure teaches you that survival firsthand. Each time you get back up, your threshold for fear increases. Eventually, you become someone who dares where others hesitate. Many people want success, but they want it without the training. They want the reward without the resistance, but untrained success is fragile. It collapses under pressure. That's why lottery winners often lose everything. That's why overnight fame destroys people. They skip the classroom. They weren't trained by failure. When challenges arrive, and they always do, they don't have the tools to respond. Failure, when embraced, gives you those tools. It equips you with perspective, resilience, patience, humility, and clarity. If you're failing right now, this message is for you. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're not wasting time. You are in training. Every setback is shaping you into someone stronger than you were before. But only if you stay. Only if you observe, learn, adjust, and continue. Failure is not asking you to quit. It's asking you to pay attention. It's asking you to grow into the person who can carry the success you want. So stop seeing failure as an enemy. Start seeing it as a teacher. A strict one, yes. A painful one, absolutely. But an honest one. Success lies on the other side of lessons most people refuse to learn. Stay in the classroom. Take the notes. Do the work. One day when success arrives, it won't feel like luck. It will feel familiar because you were trained for it all along. So if you walk away from this with one truth, let it be this. You are not failing because you are weak. You are failing because you are becoming strong. Every setback you face right now is shaping the version of you that your future success will depend on. Nothing is wasted. Not the rejection, not the delay, not the moments where you questioned yourself in silence. Those moments are carving depth into your character, strength into your mindset, and clarity into your direction. From this point forward, stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this trying to teach me? That single shift will change everything. When you fail, don't retreat, reflect, don't quit, adjust, don't doubt yourself, build yourself. Take one lesson today and apply it immediately, even in the smallest way. Progress doesn't come from massive breakthroughs. It comes from consistent, courageous steps taken despite discomfort. Remember this, the world doesn't reward potential, it rewards persistence. The people who win are not the most talented, they are the ones who refuse to leave the classroom when the lessons got hard. Stay in the process, stay committed, keep showing up when it's uncomfortable, when it's lonely, when no one is clapping for you. Your future self is counting on what you do next. Choose to learn, choose to rise, choose to keep going. Because one day, the very failure that almost made you quit will be the reason your success becomes unstoppable.